So camera didn't want to switch on for some reason. How dare you? Hey, listen, hey, listen. Hey, Spore, let's go. This project is Christmas card. It's just a little bit of a like a fun exercise in not really an exercise. I just thought I'd stream. I do a Christmas card every year, and I thought it would be a cool idea to show the process. Let's keep Quentin. How's it going? How's it going? It's a Friday. Sweet, sweet Friday. How good isn't that? Hey, Holmes. All right. So today, as you can see, I worked a tiny bit on it, but not much. I think it's getting there. I think I'm getting to a point soon where edges will matter. Hey, avocado, avocado breakfast. Voodoo breakfast. Avocado. Hey, Chisrad. Zealin Magshan. How's it going? How's it going? All right. Glad to see you back, by the way, Magshan. Okay. So what I'll try to do today is it feels like I'm getting a little bit stuck. Like I'm just worrying about edges at the moment, and it's a little bit annoying. So what I'm gonna try to do today is do the big picture treatment. Like I'll try to focus on what's missing and not talking about edges, but you know, like what's the dynamics of the painting, like what's missing to make it that much better. So I'll try to just don't care about edges, not caring about like readability. I'll just focus on treatment. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping I'll not get stuck in details. Hey, Eternal Lady, how's it going? That's cool, motion. Avocado breakfast. A voodoo breakfast. A voodoo avocado breakfast. Say that 10 times fast. All right, enough ranting. Let's do it. Okay, timer is on. I'm fine, thank you. I'm just dandy. Who uses dandy? Old man uses dandy. Right. You know, I had this funny moment this morning. I went with my daughter to her kindergarten, and I had this like pot smoker moment, and it was so funny. Oh, nice morning coffee. Yeah. Anyway, so I had this funny like classic like pot dude moment. I was like, why? I was walking home on my own, and this thought popped into my head, and the thought was like, why is everyone saying to Keanu Reeves, for example, but Keanu was the it was the thing that came to my mind for some reason. Uh, like, why are they always saying I love your movies? Because it's not his movies, right? It's the director's movies, and I wonder if actors feel like they're an imposter taking credit for the movie. I mean, obviously, a concept art that's all working on a movie, it's not their movie, It's like, oh yeah, I really like your movie. No one would say that to a concept artist or the makeup person or the why is the actor? I mean, obviously the actor is a bigger part of the movie. You know, it's the delivery vehicle for the story, but it's not their movie, right? But everyone sees it like, oh, Keanu Reeves' latest movie, but it's not. Why isn't anyone like, yeah, I don't know. It was like such a classic pot smoker moment. It's like, dude, wait. It's like, whoa. Hey, Örjan. Hey, Book a Lemon. All hail Queen Mila. Sorry for screaming. Quentin. Oh yeah, that is one of the things that makes me go crazy. Like football fans saying we won. Who won? Did you win? Did you actually win? You know, sorry for any sport person that has that uh, way of choosing to use words, but it drives me crazy. You didn't win anything. A football team you support won. It's not you, but it's an interesting thing, you know. It's a very interesting thing, and it's like I think it's like you say, Quentin. It's a matter of like abusing or misusing language more than anything. But it's also not just that. I think it's a way how people see. I mean, obviously they look up to Keanu Reeves in this instance, right? Hey, Captain Bones Iluarts, how's it going? Orion, yeah, exactly. And even more when they're like talking tactics, you know, like yeah, you know, we've been practicing a lot. They never say they, you know, the team, the team and I. No, it's such a funny thing. The team and I. What are you doing, crazy person? So I think at least with these changes, it is helping a lot with readability. But what I don't want to go too crazy, and so it becomes like a screaming fest. Orion, yeah, it is an interesting mentality. I mean, you can't blame them. Obviously, they feel they feel so much to an extent where they feel a part of the team. You know, that's cool. I wish people would say that about my art. You know, Bjorn and I, we've been practicing a lot. I wish someone cared enough. No, but I don't care about it. But it's an interesting thing. And it was just such a funny moment. I laughed a little bit at myself of being such a, like, having such a pothead moment. Even though, like, I don't smoke pot that much. So I'm not like a pothead. But for me, it's like a typical way of having those thoughts, of seeing, like, the other side of a coin. Inferior artist. Excellent. Cheers, man. Quentin. Yeah. Örjan, yeah. Well, that's true. I mean that. I mean that is interesting. That is interesting. That is just agreeing on something. So you failed a little bit there. We both agree. I mean that. Yeah, don't necessarily subscribe to that one, or yet that it could actually work. Hey, on. Hey, Sporalex Go. You're back. Yeah, like I answered your question at the very beginning of the stream. It's a Christmas card I do every year. It's just a little bit of a project. I thought it would be fun to share the process of me creating my Christmas card. But as it's only 30 minutes a day, more or less, it's not going extremely fast. And there was a comment on YouTube saying that they would like to see the process. Uh, so let's go through. So this is the first sketch. Then this is the cleanup. No, that's the cleanup. That's the color pass, first color pass. The next, then that, then this. Interesting to see this jump. Struggling with palette, I think. And now we're here. Well, no. With the credit to you. There, that's perfect. Okay, I can't get stuck. I can't get stuck. Come on. Come on, Bjorn. Well, I think a football team never credits the fans, right? It's just the fans crediting for the football team's effort. So what you got to do is not, I shouldn't get credit, but you should take credit for my illustration, like on your portfolio. Like Bjorn did it. He finished another concept art. Me and him, we've we've been working on this illustration for so long. Just look how good it is. We finally did it. So it sounds like you're, part of the process. Hey, Miasis, good morning. Welcome. Narrator, you made it. Well, this Sporalex, what this painting represents, it is the changing of the year. The idea is it's Father Time coming in into the room, the next year's room, with his time sprites, and they're the next year with the time sprites, you never really know. They are like the wild cards for the year, right? So unplanned events that's either positive or negative. So they like rushing in, kind of showing chaos, showing the possibilities of unforeseen events of the coming year. And he comes in with all the years in your baggage, like on his neck, but he is not encumbered by the fact. He's happy by the fact to carry the yet another candle, yet another year on the back. So that's the idea. Zealin, I actually thought about that. I actually mentioned that a while back on a stream. I think the stream was when I did line art for the Super Metroid fan art. I said, oh, I should give this line art. Or what did I do? I did some painting. I said, I should give you this line art so you all can paint it. I think that would be a cool collaboration. But what I think would be cooler which which I started talking to. Who was it? Who was it actually? I need to be able to credit the person. Was it my son? What? Oh yeah, another moment. It was you. Yes, just it was Aryan, flat out, point blank. Just it was him. No, I remember. It was yesterday. I was playing with my son, uh, and we were starting out with. He wanted to play Lego with me, so we started building. He said we can build machines to each other, and I said, yeah, sure, let's do that, and you know, blah 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 blah. But what I suggested we should do, which is a thing I used to do with a friend of mine. Me and her, we used to come over to each other's place and have some food, have some wine. And what we did was while eating and drinking, we started a painting, and then I gave it to her, and she continued painting, and then we swapped. So we swapped back and forth. Um, and we developed the painting as we went along. And I've done this with another artist called Adam Paquette. We did that many years ago. He works for Wizard. Um, I also did it with a guy called Andreas. Uh, his surname I don't remember. He's not very active anymore online. Um, but what we did was the idea is, which I think we should all do, which I think would be a cool thing, is that we all start a painting. We only do a warm-up startup. Um, and then after this warm-up, we rotate the paintings. So you get someone else's warm-up, you get someone else's warm-up, and everyone, gets their own base from someone else. So then when you get it, you can either keep building on it, or you can, like rotate the painting upside down, or if you see something else in the painting, you can choose to develop it differently, like take it where you want to take it, more or less. So if you're happy what you've been given, you can just continue on that, or you can keep pushing it. But every step is obviously saved because you can see what you give the other person, and then you keep rotating that depending on how many you are. The more you are, the more evolution the painting will have. The less you are, the more rotations you gotta have. So if you're only two people, obviously when you pass the sketch, you're gonna get a tighter turnaround, so you're going to get less result. But if we're 10 people and everyone rotates, and then when you get your sketch back, you probably won't know that it's your sketch anymore. And it's a really fun way of just painting something, and having a good time with another artist. It's in no way, shape, or form a great way to get the portfolio piece, uh, but it's a fun time messing around with art. So I think that is actually something we should do, like a sketch trade, in a way. Pass it on. It's like that song 99 Barrels of Beer on the Wall, almost. Why did I think about that? But apparently I did. Iluarts, yeah, the results are usually crazy. Buka, yeah. it usually turns out quite interesting, you know, completely unforeseen end result. And another thing, like what's fun to do with kids or friends, um, I mean, kids usually find it more hilarious than grown-ups. Uh, but you take a printer paper and you draw a head, then you fold it back and you show the neck, and then you draw to the waist, and then you fold it back, or you indicate where the waist is and maybe arms are, and then you fold it back, and then hip to knees, and depending on how many you are. And then when you fold it out, no one looks at the other person's segment, and then when you fold it out, you get some crazy looking character, and that's usually also a really fun thing to do. In a very similar uh, fashion, the sketch trade uh, game. You can get some crazy and very funny characters. Usually, there's a lot of laughs involved, which is fun. So I think so far the changes I've done are all the correct ones. Um, I think I'm starting to combat the the dirty palette. Like I had issues with the shadows for quite some time. Um, Obviously, because I was building the image, I wasn't focusing on treating the palette. But now that I can see more of where the edges are, um, now start to get a better feeling of where the palette will go. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't think about when they're painting, um, is like the next step down the line, right? Rather than no, let me rephrase. Let me try to explain that correctly. Um, Sporalics, yeah. So my point being, let me try to capture the thought correctly. Um, a lot of times, I can't say for all artists, but for me particularly, um, it's easy to forget that a painting should never be done in a way where everything is treated to the level where visually it makes sense. Does- That that like the whole thing about like buying something that's not assembled. There's always, I mean, if you ever build Lego, you never build the Lego like as if it would be a projection, right? Because in Lego you need to build it up in layers and make it make sense in the end, right? And I find it that in a lot of paintings, a lot of people paint it like it has to make sense in the end constantly throughout the process of the painting. Like, oh, here I made a mistake. Oh, here it needs to be a highlight. Oh, here it needs to be a shadow. But no one, no one, a lot of people don't have that thought process of, okay, I have to put the foundation in so that in 2 steps or 5 steps or in next step, I will be able to paint my painting correctly. And that's usually a good telltale sign of a experienced artist versus a beginner. A beginner usually paints it to make sense constantly throughout the painting. Like if you look at, hey, look at me. If you look at my painting, um, I have done the process, like I've explained the process of the decisions I'm making and why I'm making them as I'm painting. I have mentioned that I don't like the palette, but I know that I need to be able to see the painting before I can start dealing with the palette because of the nature of how I've started this painting. I mean, some other paintings I start with palette first. I start with light first. So it's all about, like understanding what you're doing and to what should the process be. And obviously, as a beginner, you don't know the process because it's all up in the air. And that's where practice comes in. Also doing what you love, because if you're doing what you love, you're reacting more and you're having more fun. But then studies comes in. You should study process as well, and not only like copying an image. And so with that process, comes you practice this, like the Lego build catalog. Let me actually quickly try to see if I can find a picture how I used to do studies. Let's see. Very old ones, so I have no idea if there's still gonna be any hits on the internet. No. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, this is Chillstrands, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Came up when I Googled me. Good job. Where is it? His Beyond the Human. Anyways, back to the stream. What I wanted to talk about. That's pretty cool. I think the final pose that you did wasn't the strongest. I think that could have been a lot stronger. But for what it was really good. Anyways, what I was trying to get to, I'm so ADHD at the moment. It was like, oh, I'm painting Chillstrand all over the place. Anyways, so what I was trying to get to was that with my studies, when I did my like anatomy studies to learn anatomy and painting, I also painting studies. So I smashed two birds in one stone by painting anatomy, studying anatomy, and also studying process painting. So what I always did was I showed the process. I uploaded the process to people so people could see the process. And usually no one commented on the process. Everyone commented on the final painting. And no one said, oh, you did a mistake here. You made a mistake there. You should have thought about this before. And that's a very interesting indicator of a knowledge gap in a lot of people. And it's not the knowledge gap in the sense of people don't know this, but people don't care about it or people don't think about it. And I think it's such it's an obvious thing if you're pragmatic, that obviously there has to be reasoning to your madness. There has to be a thought behind how you're creating things. And if you don't think about it, how can you learn from it? Wow, I'm completely ranting all over the place today. Hopefully you you follow my crazy mind this morning. Chilstrand, yeah, the pose. One thing that you should learn, especially with 3D, posing is everything. Not everything, but it's a huge part of the way your artwork is presented. Lighting and posing, especially in 3D, when you have the ability to navigate with camera around the character and represent it really, really well. What you also got to do is read up on lenses, like what focal length do you need, what does what, and I've seen some 3D artists' portfolios where they switch focal length. Makes a world of a difference. And one thing I think, I don't understand that section. Oh, it was his foot. One thing that 3D artists and 2D artists can't really do that well, like branch over, is using the same pose, really. I mean, if it's a concept, it's harder. If it's an illustration, sure. I mean, then you can usually, illustration has pose involved a lot more than concept has. Concept has to be a lot more representative. Sporalex 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a good point. That's a good point, sir or madam. Why do you always have to be this way, Sporalex? Completely shitting on you on your first day on the stream. No, it's all good. Thank you very much. It's a good point. Valid point. Point taken. Process is a constant. It's a huge, I mean, it's a massive part of how the painting will end up. And knowing your own process and improving your process and seeing faults in your process. And don't stray away from the process. Like I've been all over the place in this painting. Yeah, I think it's a good point. Process. I think that definitely needs to be added to the list. So that's step 1. Process. Think about the process. Magshin. Well, okay. Remind me, Magshin, on Monday. I'll rant about process, right? I'll try to do. I won't do maybe Christmas card. I will do process, or rant about it at least. Zealin. Oh well, you can just paint stuff and don't care about what you're doing. Emotional painting, or just paint something. Oh, now I'm going to paint a character or a monster, and you don't think about your process. You're just going for the goal. I think it's easily done. All right, cool. Monday morning, process rant. Chick, chick. Note added. Hey, Henrik West. It's an ongoing. Let's see if I have the. It's an ongoing process all this week. Christmas card time. Let's see. Hey, Bunko. Thanks for de-lurking. Yeah, perspective painting is objects and placement is important. Captain Bowes, yeah, 30 minutes. This is was what, number 5? No, this is should be number 6 actually. Um, the 6th one is episode 230. Book 11, fantastic. Go kick some ass. All right, thanks everyone for coming. Sport Alex every day at the same time is the stream. You know, every day except Saturday, Sunday. But Monday to Friday is the same time every day. So constant schedule, every day warm up. So please join in. You can also join the Discord underneath the stream window. Lots of people hang out there. Yeah, time flew. Captain Bowes, you're a star. You're all a star in my eye. Oh my god. I better stop before it goes out of hand. All right. You all did a great job today. We did it. Oh yeah. Have a great one, everyone. Catch you on Discord. Bye. Outro time.